In fact, you mentioned about the Ministry of External Affairs. We have an update from there as we are learning that the Indians in Jeddah, this is the in fact, the Consulate General of India in Jeddah that has put out this tweet, the details where they are talking about how, in view of this tragic bus accident near Medina, Saudi Arabia, involving Indian Umrah Pilgrims, a 24/7 control room has now been set up in Jeddah. This is a detail that our colleague Siddhant is getting for us. Siddhant, more on this?
But yes, that's right. So in a view of a tragic bus accident near Medina, Saudi Arabia, involving Indian Umrah pilgrims, a 24/7 control room now has been set up by Consulate General's office in Jeddah. The contact details and the helpline numbers have been issued by Ministry of External Affairs. In fact, Ministry of External Affairs is in touch with the authorities in Saudi Arabia. The embassy, the Consulate General is in touch. In fact, all the possible help and relief will be extended to the victims, and in fact, Indian government takes the pilgrim to Mecca very, very seriously. In fact, last week, Minister Kiran Rijiju was in Saudi Arabia, perhaps to inspect, to review the preparations done by the Saudi Arabian government. So Indian government takes this particular pilgrimage on a priority levels, and in fact now also we've been told that the situation is being monitored at the highest level in the Ministry of External Affairs. In fact, the control room has been set up by the Consulate General's office in Jeddah. The helpline numbers, etc., have also been issued. So a very unfortunate incident where a bus carrying Indian pilgrims crashes, and even over 42 have been feared dead. This is what we're getting to know. Right now, we have a very limited information, but as I said, that Indian government takes this particular pilgrimage on a priority levels. In fact, last week, Kiran Rijiju was there in Saudi Arabia, perhaps reviewing, inspecting the preparations. Okay. In fact, at the highest level, both sides are in touch, perhaps to extend all kinds of relief to the victims, and also, since 42 have been feared dead, so establishing contact with their family members, their relatives, perhaps is definitely going to be the priority of the Indian side.
Right. So the Consulate General in Jeddah setting up a 24/7 control room. Any more details of emergency teams who possibly have been rushed to the spot? Do we have reasons to believe that there are no survivors, unfortunately?
Well, in regard with the number of death toll, we are told that there are 42 people who have lost their life, and over the people who have survived, as we are yet to get more details, but as per the statement of Asaduddin Owaisi, we see that only one survivor managed to survive in this very shocking fire accident, the bus accident that took place. And also at the same time, now what we are learning, we have also access to few more visuals of the bus accident which has taken place in Saudi Arabia, and also at the same time the emergency teams have been set up. They are contacting the External Affairs Ministry and also the embassy in Saudi Arabia. And also at the same time, what we are learning right now is that the officials are working on to bring more details and get more details over what exactly has transpired there and what led to this massive fire accident. That is also one of the larger questions that remains to be seen.
Right, absolutely. How soon can we learn of more details that will be emerging? Do we have any information on any of the Indian families who possibly have contacted the Telangana government, Aneri?
Well, what we are seeing is that the Telangana government is constantly working on. They are getting more details as to what exactly has transpired, and also they are, as we know, that they are near about 16 to 19 people. Well, the exact number of people belonging from Hyderabad are yet to be ascertained. Well, this incident has taken place when they were traveling from Mecca to Medina, and also at the same time, the government officials, the chief secretary and others have been on ground.
Absolutely horrific visuals that we are putting out for our viewers. and these are fresh set of images that we have managed to source there. As you can see, the impact of the collision has been so much that this has left the bus gutted. You can see that big ball of fire. This has happened after this bus that was ferrying the Umrah pilgrims from Mecca to Medina. That's when the collision with a diesel tanker near Mufrihat in Saudi Arabia happened early on Monday morning. At about 1 post midnight is when this collision is reported to have taken place. The impact of the crash was so severe, as you can only begin to imagine looking at these visuals, that multiple passengers, and so far the death toll, we are told, is 42, have been, in fact, they have died. Several, we are told, have been injured according to the initial reports that have trickled in. Ramana, more on these visuals that we have managed to source so far.
Yeah, as you said, 42 people died in this heart incident. In fact, it was happened around 1:30 p.m. And another update is that Telangana government alerted all the travel agencies here in Hyderabad to get the information from them, because all the travel agencies will be registered with them, and through that travel agency only they went to Saudi Arabia and Mecca, whatever the tour they visited, in fact. So they are trying to get the information. They alerted the officials and as well as the External Affairs Ministry also. As of now, we are getting information is that there is 19 people who belongs to Hyderabad. Of course, we are getting some information, but yet to get some clarity on that, because even the union government also announced that they have to track more information about that. As of now, they are not having the clarity on that, and they are approaching the even External Affairs Ministry, even Telangana government also approaching the External Affairs Ministry to get the more information on that. As of now, the people is very much in hurry. Of course, just now even Asaduddin Owaisi also reacted on that, and he made condolences to the deceased families, and as well as he alerted the government also. He's speaking to the authorities also to get some information on that. The people who went to the Hajj and all, they have to approach that particular helpline which was set up by the Telangana government, and they have given the numbers also. Based on that numbers, they can track their relatives.
All right, seem to have lost that link with Ramana, but we do have Siddhant also with us on the broadcast. Siddhant, you were mentioning about this control room, this helpline that has been set up by the Indian Embassy there in Jeddah. This will provide a lot of information, of course, but initial reports that have trickled in also speak of some survivors possibly. Is the MEA really underlining any of that?
Well, definitely. As I said, the Indian government takes the pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia as the topmost priority. In fact, Minister Kiran Rijiju was present in Saudi Arabia himself to review and inspect preparations. Now we're getting to know that at the top level, the Minister of External Affairs is in touch with the Saudi authorities. Perhaps we are yet to hear the exact details from the authorities in Saudi Arabia. All we know from Telangana and from the families of the victims so far. In fact, our colleagues are also reporting that 42 have been feared death, and there have been many injured as well. So we are still awaiting response from the government of Saudi Arabia. All we know is that Consulate General's office in Jeddah has set up a control room. Perhaps even the helpline numbers have also been issued. We can flash those helpline numbers for our viewers, so the victim families can reach out on those numbers, and can establish contact with the consulate and the embassy, Indian embassy in Saudi Arabia. We are, as I said, that we are yet to get more details from the Indian government and the Saudi authorities. In fact, we are also trying to establish contact, perhaps to get the exact figure, the number of casualties and the victims in this bus collision, and what preparations, what actions are being initiated at this point in time as far as relief works is concerned. So definitely, in fact, we are also getting a response from Minister Jai Shankar. We can put that out for our viewers.
Yes.
In fact, Minister Jai Shankar has come up with a post on X, and he says that deeply shocked at the accident involving Indian nationals in Medina, Saudi Arabia. Our embassy in Riyadh and consulate in Jeddah are giving fullest support to Indian nationals and families affected by these accidents. Sincere condolences to the families. So first response
Right.
coming from Minister of
Absolutely. We'll request
as I
our
said,
producers to put that out. Siddhant just reporting about how the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar has just also put out this tweet and he's taken cognizance of this entire unfortunate incident that we are reporting from Saudi Arabia that is speaking about how 42 people, majorly Indian nationals who've lost their life in this collision that has been reported while the Umrah pilgrims were going from Mecca to Medina. This incident is reported to have taken place at around 1:30 on Monday morning, and this is what Dr. S. Shankar has said. Like Siddhant was just mentioning, that he's deeply shocked at the accident involving Indian nationals in Medina in Saudi Arabia. Our embassy in Riyadh and consulate in Jeddah giving fullest support to Indian nationals and families affected by this accident. Sincere condolences to the bereaved families. Pray for the speedy recovery of those injured. We are putting out that tweet of Dr. S. Shankar's. Siddhant, like you mentioned, he has spoken about how both the Indian Embassy in Riyadh and the consulate in Jeddah are working to assist the affected families. We seem to have lost that link with Siddhant, but Siddhant was also mentioning about the helpline numbers. We are constantly putting those helpline numbers on the screens for our viewers. So that is also something that we are learning of, and how the Indian Embassy in Saudi Arabia has been quick to react to this entire accident that has been reported out of this place in Saudi Arabia. This has happened while the Umrah pilgrims were going from Mecca to Medina, and right in the wee hours of the night, around 1:30 on Monday morning, is when this incident was reported. This is a major crash, remember, and this accident with a diesel tanker has left the bus gutted. 42 so far are reported to have died. Initial reports also suggest there are several people who have been injured in this accident, and you can see there's a ball of fire. The bus is completely gutted, and the flames that are billowing out of the accident spot really tell the story of how bad this accident is and how unfortunate these developments really are. We're talking about 42 lives, majorly Indian lives, that have been lost as they were in fact going for their pilgrimage to Mecca, and that's when this has happened. 42 Indians feared dead. We also have a reaction by AIMIM Sasuddin Owaisi. We just played out that reaction for our viewers. Let's play it out once again.
42 हाजी मक्का से मदीना जा रहे थे बस में, और बस को आग लगने से मालूम हुआ कि सिर्फ एक शख्स की जान बची है, कंफर्म नहीं है। बात कह रहे हैं कि पूरों का इंतकाल हो गया। तो मैंने इंडियन एम्बेसी रियाद में जो डीसीएम है अबू मैथिन जॉर्ज साहब से मेरी बात हुई। खुद इस पर मालूमात हासिल कर रहे हैं और जो भी ज़रूरी कार्रवाई करना है वो करेंगे। जिन लोगों की डेथ हुई है उनके परिवार ये चाह रहा है कि उनकी डेड बॉडीज़ जल्द से जल्द इंडिया को लाई जाए, और अगर कोई उसमें ज़ख्मी है तो उनको अच्छी से अच्छी वहाँ पर उनको इलाज हो सके। ये मैं रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ हमारे एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर सर, भारत सरकार से।
And we were just talking about the tweet by the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar. Siddhant is back with us on the broadcast. Siddhant, Dr. S. Shankar mentioning about assistance not just by the Indian Embassy in Riyadh, but also the Consulate General in Jeddah to the affected families. That's where all of the families can also approach. Of course, there are helpline numbers that we are also putting out for our viewers.
Well, yes, that's right. In fact, we have response coming from Consulate General's office in Jeddah. Now, in fact, EMS Shankar also writes on X, and he says that deeply shocked at the accident involving Indian nationals in Medina, Saudi Arabia. Our embassy in Riyadh and consulate in Jeddah are giving fullest support to Indian nationals and families affected by this accident. Sincere condolences to the families. Pray for the speedy recovery of those injured. So right now, Ministry of External Affairs at the highest level is in touch with the authorities in Saudi Arabia. In fact, as I said, that Indian government gives a lot of importance to this pilgrimage. In fact, last week, Minister Kiran Rijiju was in Saudi Arabia, perhaps to inspect, review the preparations done by the Saudi Arabian government for the pilgrimage. And now, since this unfortunate incident occurred, where 42 people have lost their lives, we are still awaiting official confirmation from the authorities. In fact, many are injured. So helpline numbers have been issued, control room has been set up. In fact, the Indian teams have been dispatched to the spot, perhaps to help those who are injured and to extend support in the rescue works.
Okay, you are mentioning about how Indian teams are also on the spot. We did get information on how the initial relief and rescue was underway. So far, there is nothing official, but there is 42 unfortunate deaths that are being reported. And these are unverified, unclaimed, unverified sources that are right now suggesting that this possibly could be the number. We also had a colleague, Ramanna, join us, and he mentioned about how 19 of those individuals, in fact, I beg your pardon, were from Telangana, from Hyderabad. This is what we are learning of at the moment. So far, official responses have also trickled in. We've had a tweet that has come in from the External Affairs Minister, where he's not yet giving a number out, but he's talking about how every possible assistance is going to be given to the affected families. He's talking about how the Indian embassy in Riyadh is also working towards it, and also the Consulate General in Jeddah. There's also the Consulate General in Jeddah putting out that 24/7 control room that they say that has been set up to assist the bereaved family members, to affected families, and this is in view of this tragic incident that has been reported from Saudi Arabia. Remember, we're constantly putting out the details as and when we are learning of more details that will be trickling in. This is first we learnt on how the Telangana government mentioned that they are in contact with the Indian embassy in Riyadh, and this was after the initial reports of at least 42 Indian Umrah pilgrims being killed in this accident first emerged. This is what we are learning, that this collision happened with a diesel tanker while the bus was going from Mecca to Medina. Very near, close to Medina is where this incident took place. These are through local media reports in Saudi Arabia early on Monday, where we learnt of this incident, a very unfortunate incident. We're learning of Indian pilgrims having died as they were on Umrah to Mecca and Medina. The victims are all believed to be majorly from Hyderabad, from Telangana, and that's why the Telangana government under Revant Reddy swung into action. They said that they are in contact with the Indian embassy in Riyadh, and there was also an official statement that the state government put out, and this was confirmed and this is what the Chief Minister Revant Reddy said, that they had alerted the officials in the national capital, instructing them to coordinate closely with the embassy authorities. And we also have seen how the Consulate General in Jeddah has put out that tweet. There is an official version that's coming in from the External Affairs Minister himself. The visuals are absolutely shocking. This is the kind of accident that we are talking about. The impact is only for the viewers to see and imagine what possibly could have happened, because all we can see is how the bus has been completely gutted. Dr. S. Jaishankar says he's deeply shocked with the entire incident, and they are constantly in touch with the authorities in Saudi Arabia. Aneri is with us on the broadcast. Aneri, we are constantly putting out these helpline numbers. So far, the maximum number of residents who were on board that bus are believed to be from Telangana.
Well, yes, a maximum number of the people are believed to be from Telangana. There are near about 16 to 18 people are said to be from Hyderabad who were traveling, and also from Mecca to Medina. And also now what we are learning is that the authorities, the state government officials, senior officials have taken note of the bus accident that has occurred in Saudi Arabia. They spoke with the Consulate General in Jeddah and also the Deputy Ambassador. They have requested for a complete information on whether any of these any pilgrims from our state, that is from Telangana, involved in this very incident, and how many number of people belonging from Telangana. They have ascertained certain details by speaking with the Consulate General and Deputy Ambassador, and also at the same time, the senior officials have instructed the resident commissioner and the coordination secretary in Delhi to coordinate with the officials in this regard.
Right. Also, Siddhant, we're learning that the Deputy Chief of Mission at the Indian Embassy in Riyadh, Abu George, he has been provided with a list of passengers either through these travel agencies that were based out of Hyderabad, who have in fact shared those passenger details with the Riyadh Embassy and also the Foreign Secretary. Any details that you're learning of?
Well, that's right. So at the highest level, Ministry of External Affairs is in touch with the government of Telangana. In fact, they are also coordinating with the Saudi Arabian authorities. And you rightly said that there are some details which have been provided by the government of Telangana to Ministry of External Affairs. In fact, Abu is the Deputy Ambassador in Riyadh. Perhaps he is in touch with the authorities. In fact, that is exactly what MIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi also said. So as I said, at this point in time, there is very little detail which is available with us. All we know is that this bus carrying Indian pilgrims collided with the oil tanker, and perhaps very unfortunate incident occurred. In fact, the teams have been dispatched to the spot, perhaps to extend help in relief, and in fact the Jeddah Consulate has set up a control room. There have been 3 numbers which have been issued by the Jeddah Consulate. Toll-free numbers have been issued. In fact, the WhatsApp numbers have also been issued by the consulate, so the victim families can directly reach out to the consulate in Jeddah for more details. And in fact, so these measures have been taken.
Absolutely.
By
and more details also are emerging now, Siddhant. We are learning that since the incident, of course, happened around 1:30 in the night, wee hours, many of the passengers, and that is how unfortunate this information is, many of those passengers were asleep, and that gave them little chance to really escape that incident site. And that is also something that we must put out for our viewers. The reports are also suggesting that there were at least 11 women and 10 children among the victims out of the 42 that we are learning of who have been feared dead. These are the unfortunate details that we are putting out for our viewers. 42 who have unfortunately died in this collision that has taken place very close to Medina. These were Umrah pilgrims that were going from Mecca to Medina when this incident took place, many of them Indian nationals.